Hello there! In this part I'll be exploring Cabalist guns that may work for crit builds. Now, I know that newcomers may not be entirely familiar with how crit builds work in Hellgate, so let me briefly explain that before we begin. Apart from critical chance and critical damage, both of which are pretty much universal, in Hellgate there is also CCM, critical chance multiplier. This affix multiplies base crit chance against an enemy cast. This is what bumps base crit chance to very high levels and makes critical damage invaluable. Then, out of many affixes that increase one's base damage, elemental damage is the one that benefits crit builds the most. Thus, elemental damage and CCM are the two affixes that crit guns need, and the more mod slots they have to facilitate them, the better. Of course, crit guns don't just need slots, but also an optimal damage to rate of fire ratio. With that in mind, here are a few options that may fit the criteria. Bane Blasters are likely the closest to a traditional gun that Cabalists can get, and they follow the principle of what makes Eviscerators work for Hunters. This gun comes with acceptable base damage per shot and a great rate of fire of 300. 4 mod slots suffice for this approach, as each gun can have up to 5 CCM affixes. Now, TechSmith's Noxious Effluviator, also dubbed as Noxy, may be an option to consider, since it may have 1 less slot, but it has double the rate of fire. Sadly, getting 2 of them with 3 slots and augmenting both with the same CCM should be very hard, and arguably too hard to justify the benefit. Now, Pyro Smashers are another option, odd as it may seem in theory. This gun has both low rate of fire and seemingly low base damage. What makes it work, however, is both 5 mod slots as well as the fact that each shot fires 9 projectiles. Each projectile deals splash damage as well, so what seems like a very unlikely candidate actually becomes one of the best. The last 2 candidates are actually my personal favorites conceptually, Chaos Pistols and Typhoon Rifles. Both are throwbacks to the very first guns that Cabalists get in the game, and both come with unique traits that make them tricky to use but rewarding when used correctly. Chaos Pistols come with a very low rate of fire of 42 per minute, as well as a large fuse timer. However, they also come with 5 slots, very good base damage and splash damage to boot. This lends itself perfectly to the concept of crit multiplying base damage, in a classic case of trading firing speed for base power. Typhoon Rifles, on the other hand, while less reliable, also come with 5 mod slots and become viable through their own mechanic. Each shot fired breaks off into multiple projectiles after it travels some distance. So, as long as a player can maintain an optimal distance for this effect, this gun can be very effective, especially against large targets. Of course, it's also worth noting that any crit gun also benefits massively from using feral gear. The base crit that this armor line provides is simply unmatched and cannot come from elsewhere. Now, I imagine that other gun types may work as well, since crit does often transcend base designs. Still, that's the ones I've been able to find so far. If you have any guns in mind that I missed, please let me know. As always, thank you for watching.